Hi, I'm Phil and welcome back to the Who's He Podcast YouTube channel. Over recent weeks, I've been doing short reviews of Andor, which is currently airing on Disney+. And those reviews I've been doing every 3 episodes, mainly because each 3 episodes, really made up a little movie. However, after watching episodes 7 to 9, I was getting ready to put together another review for the channel. But wait, the 3-episode movie rule didn't apply this time. No, episode 10 is where this particular plot strand finished, and it was very much worth the wait. Without giving too much away, after the heist on Aldani, Andor gets captured by the Empire, under a false name of course, and sent to prison on Narkina 5 under a 6-year prison sentence. Here the prisoners are basically forced labour, making machine parts for the Empire and counting their shifts until release. Meanwhile, ISB officer Dedra Meero is continuing her search for Andor, little realising that the Empire already has him in custody, and this leads her to cross paths with Cyril Khan, who gets slimier by the minute by actually stalking her at one point. Also, Mon Mothma is trying to find ways to move her money about to fund the Rebel Alliance without attracting attention, while Luthen Cal decides that Cassian Andor is a loose end that should be eliminated. Now, one thing that has really stood out plot-wise over the course of episodes 7 to 10 is that there really isn't any difference between the Empire and the Rebels. The Empire will kill or use anyone to strengthen their power, while the Rebels will murder, rob and blackmail anyone for the Rebel cause. And I'm really enjoying this aspect of the story. The lines between good and evil are very much blurred in this series, which makes the story much more interesting. You're never sure who you should be rooting for. The rebels are willing to sacrifice their own people for the cause, and Luthen Rael seems to relish this, as this makes the Empire press the people more, which in turn encourages rebellion. It's quite dark stuff. But at this point in the series, the rebels are also still very fragmented. Each rebel faction is still arguing amongst themselves, and we see Luthen Rael make a trip to visit Saw Gerrera, once again played by Forrest Whitaker, who, true to form, who will not align himself with any other faction. In fact, this squabbling between them reminded me of Monty Python's Life of Brian with the Judean People's Front, or arguing with the People's Front of Judea. I was also reminded of another Monty Python connection when we see Cyril Khan, who has a new job in an administrative role, which involves sitting in a cavernous room filled with row upon row of desks, which just reminded me of Terry Gilliam's Brazil. And as for the Empire, well, we only really see the ISB in their hunt for rooting out the rebels. And they also argue amongst themselves as well. Each of them are more than willing to stab each other in the back to further their careers, and Dedra Meero seems to be perfectly cut out to go up the career ladder in this way. In fact, over the course of these 4 episodes, Dedra Meero becomes a truly hissable villain. We see her willing to torture people to gain information, and it was this scene in particular that made me really dislike the character. And from that moment, I think she is the person you can openly say is definitely one of the bad guys. But even the lead character, Cassian Andor, is a murderer and a thief. Are we really supposed to root for him? Well, over the course of this prison story arc, I did. As soon as Andor reaches the prison on Narkina 5, he is totally out of his depth, and it shows. Once he sees the monotony of prison life and the glee the guards take in bullying the prisoners, there is a point where the character looks genuinely panicked at the situation he's in. Staring blankly and silently into space, I believe just for one moment we could see Cassian break. However, of course, that doesn't happen, and he is soon planning an escape from the prison. But the prison arc over episodes 8, 9 and 10 are truly the standout episodes of the series so far, and this is helped largely by the presence of Andy Serkis as Kino Loy. Now, Kino Loy is the team leader in charge of Cassian's level. A prisoner himself, he ensures his floor follows the rules, gets the shift done, and is counted the days until his own release. But not only that, he wants his team to get their individual releases, and he doesn't take kindly to Cassian Andor wanting to stir things up with his plans of escape. But when a tragic turn of events turns Kino Loy's world upside down, he is soon rallying the rest of the prisoners to rebel. And, I have to say that if Andy Serkis does not win some kind of award for his performance, I will be very much surprised. He is absolutely brilliant in this, and the look of realisation on his face when he finds he's been lied to from the moment he walked through the prison doors was outstanding. He also gives a rousing speech to the prisoners to get them to rebel, which I put on a par with Bernard Hill's speech from Return of the King. And the moment when they escape to the surface of the prison, the awful twist at the end for Kino Loy, it was a real gut punch. Andy Serkis really sells this scene with a single line of "I can't swim," and lets his face say the rest. I was genuinely saddened for his character, and Serkis was absolutely fantastic from the moment we first saw him to his final scene in episode 10. While things don't look good for Kino Loy, what happens next for him, well, it's ambiguous, so there is a chance he could return in series 2, and I certainly hope we do see Andy Serkis again. Now, I haven't covered loads of other plot threads running through these 4 episodes, but I really don't want to spoil everything for you. We still got 2 episodes to go before the end of this series, and I must admit, despite my early reservations, this gritty spy thriller set in the Star Wars universe has now really got me hooked. And besides, in the next couple of episodes, maybe the Rebel Alliance will start to get their act together. We might even see the Rebel Alliance Popular Front sitting over there. Splitter!